Denise, can you see my slide?
Yes, can.
Okay, fantastic. So today we go into a bit of a different session. I will do a couple of recaps, and we'll have a couple of activities to execute on what we are going through today. Ideally, it is to get you a bit out of your comfort zone, because only then is like when we experience new stuff and are brave enough to try something new, which is not related to maybe our current work. And so we can screw up a little bit more because we can experiment. And that is also like the reason why I'm going a little bit bold with my colors, to show you that like we can always do different approaches, and we don't have to be afraid of using bold, unconventional colors. It may not really be applicable for your day-to-day work, but this is not a session to teach you how to improve your current work. It's more on about how to understand the basics, and those basics then can be applied to your work. So it's more to find you a new reality in your work, that you can experiment a little bit with it. Okay. We're going through like the basic steps of like how you can structure your work better. So today, our objectives are to understand the habits of expert designers and why they work, apply a 4-step creative approach, improve your creative judgment, and reflect on your design choices. Right? That are the key strengths which will make your work pop, and hopefully like communicate better with like your audience. It is all about like getting them to notice you, right? Be curious. Have an empathy towards your audience. Recognize patterns, and get out of like your current restraints. It means like you have to simplify more, right? And then reflect upon all of those changes and keep on improving. Rarely like whatever you do is good enough to roll out without going through it again and again. We always can find ways how to tweak it to make it better. Right? Sometimes it means like to throw the whole thing away and start over again, because like the approach didn't really work. Important is to stay curious. So like, how can we improve? Right? What will it work better, or make it easier understood for our audience? Right? And it's to practice them and practice them again and again. This is what makes you a more proficient communicator and designer. Yeah, it is always like you need to understand first completely what you are presenting. You have a problem which you need to solve, and sort of like, how do I present this to my audience in the most effective way? And you will have to find a solution to it. Sometimes there are many more solutions that you want. You have different approaches. You do them, try them all, refine them, and then decide for one that is actually the most effective one, that fits your brand, that fits your current project. And this is how you are staying on top of it, by being curious, always challenging yourself. Empathy is something that is a big word, and a lot of people misunderstand it. But it means that you need to understand your audience. If this is a PowerPoint, if this is an outdoor campaign, if this is a flyer which some people will push into the hands of bystanders, you need to figure out what makes your product relevant to your audience. If it's not relevant, then no matter what you did, it will not have an impact. You'll just take it and throw and go away. However, if you can fish more fish than like just targeting a very narrow beam by making this more appealing to people. A lot of companies do one big mistake is by thinking that whatever they have to say is the most important thing in the world. And henceforth, they put all of that stuff in there, which they think it's really important to tell them about the company. It's always me, 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 me. And they don't consider like the audience. In very few cases, this works. And most of the cases, it will fail. The only company who can get away with it is Apple. They classically don't care about the customer. They just care about what they want to do. And they have been wise enough to be excellent at what they do. And they didn't need to have the empathy towards the customer because whatever they did, people would line up for it. But for most companies, this is not true. They have to consider what the customer wants and therefore give them that tailored in a fashion that like the customer wants to accept it. A example would be out of like what we at Incontech do as is that consumer-based product, which I'm running with Carl's younger brother, Cacino. And we do healthcare products for adults, kids, seniors in Southeast Asian markets. And we have to fight a battle against a massive amount of products which are in the shelf. And if we just tell them what we want to tell them as a company, we would fail. Most of those companies, our competitors, do exactly that. And this is our advantage, that we don't. So we try to understand the needs of our customer and try to address them so that when they look at the product, it resonates with them. And so, aha, I want to know more. Instead of like the company telling them like what they want to tell the customers. So empathy is one of the key factors of success. Pattern recognition is, for a brand, it is kind of important to stay within your brand promise, that you are repeating certain structures, at least for a year or two, so that hammers in. That means, for example, for your layouts, they should repeat if they work, repeat them, so it sinks in. Yeah, so that is how you can practice. Once you have a layout that works for you, it might turn into a template for your company. That's how that works, that we should be continuing. That is continuity. That is the trust of like the company, of like the customers. And they're comfortable with that kind of messaging. Might it be just for layout purposes, means in terms of like messaging, it is a certain pattern which you keep repeating if it does work. So there's a lot of trial and error, but I mean, like you as a creative for companies have to figure out and work with marketing to figure out what's the feedback, does it work, where can we change to make it better, but then keep on sticking to those kind of like structures. And again, creative restraint, remove distractions, get the message clear. People don't have time to listen to a lot of decoration. Get straight to the point, empathy, talk to the people directly. Don't patronize them. So like they're all fairly smart. If they're buying your products, they're supposed to be smarter than the rest of them. So don't patronize them, talk to them directly. And make it clear. Like nobody wants to waste time on anything nowadays. We have an attention span of a couple of seconds and then we're gone. You have to catch them, right? Make it clear. And then during your creative process is reflection, right? You keep on looking at what works, what that didn't work, where it fails, where it can be better. And keep on improving. Even if a certain campaign works, you have to figure out how to make it better. A certain product works, try to make it better staying within your brand constraints. It's about getting your message across as simple as possible. If the person understands what they're looking at within 2 seconds, you already have their attention. If this is the right message for the person, right? The rest, which are not interested in this kind of product, they can walk away. They would not listen to it in any ways, right? So rework your creative approach, see where to improve, what to get rid of, what to enhance. Right? And that would lead us to our 4-step framework: concept, structure, message, and execution. What question to you guys? What is an area where you like to improve your work? Is it in your creative thinking? Is it in your approach to reach the customer? Is it about simplification? Any thoughts? Maybe you note this down and then later on we can share. But before I'm gonna start jumping into this framework, I'd like to go through like your homework, as to say, so we can see like if we have learned something in the last session. Who would like to start? Denise, why you don't take the lead on this one yet?
Sure. I'll share my screen. Oh, F, could you unshare yours?
Oh yeah, sure.
Mm. Okay, all right. So to give some context, I've been tasked to create an e-newsletter for the Good Clinic, and this is what you are currently looking at is my first draft. I wasn't too happy with this because my first draft looked quite cluttered. So I actually did another version, but since today the main goal is to look at the not so good ones first. So maybe we can uh, spend some time here before we go to my enhanced version.
Okay. So, in your opinion, Denise, where were you not happy?
Um, in terms of content wise, the client gave a lot of requirements. So the main content would be the blood screening, what is included in the package. Second is it has to indicate that this is a promotion. And then we also will be throwing in a free health check. And at the same time, because this is a fairly new clinic, this e-newsletter will be distributed within the office area of the clinic. So we need to be clear where they can locate the clinic. So overall, I feel it's usable, but a lot of information are fighting with each other. So I did this for one day, then I paused for a while, and then my enhanced version came maybe 2 or 3 days later. Yeah. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your current approach?
So my current approach is the bottom one. So I didn't remove any information. So what I did is what needs to stand out, I focus on those areas like the pricing and complimentary offer. I also take note you mentioned the real estate bottom right is quite uh very significant. So I place this offer at the bottom right. Then for the rest, where if people are interested to read those areas, I tend to put it as a smaller font. And then I increase the white spacing and readjusted. Previously, the grid was a bit messy. The second version, I made it more neat. You can see the sections are more prominent compared to the first version where it's a bit more uh, all over the place. So yeah, this is the enhancement that I did.
Okay. I think in overall it looks much cleaner. Right. Much cleaner. Um, my comment here, like direct comment, would be like, it looks more like a yoga studio.
Mm,
My
yep.
first impression, right? So that is probably I would address that, because like you don't want to confuse the person who's getting this. They look at it, the first impression, yoga studio, not for me. Um, so if you use images, they have to be related and relevant, and ideally say more than 100 words because they're more impactful, right? So try to capture the audience with a visual if you use visuals, right? To make it crystal clear what this is. I like the left side, this is great. On the right side, I think you have got a couple of orphans. That means like in your second box, like your, what is the function test? Renal function test.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got like a second one, which is dangling over there.
Yep.
So if you need to, you have to look at this. Can you use this information in one column? So you have clear blocks of information instead of like splitting this into two columns. You have to figure this out. How do you space this? So it is a little bit clearer and you don't have orphans like this glucose testing over there on the side. But overall, it does work. I think absolutely great improvement. I like the pricing over there is prominent. It looks non-threatening. But if this is a promotion, then I would highlight this. This is a promotional price. Um, so I think overall it works. Um, just look at like what can you do with like visuals? How do we make sure that like the customer understands immediately what they're looking at?
Mm.
Yeah, that is
Yep.
a trustworthy clinic or whatever angle you have like to anchor this into their heads.
Mm.
All
Sure.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I got a question, F.
Yeah.
Can you put it back on, Denise?
Okay.
This is the clinic that I'm running, so I'm very concerned because we want to bring in as many clients as possible.
Yeah.
And then this is the first time we are announcing to the world that we exist, right?
Okay.
Um, all right. So what will be a good picture then, F?
All right. Who is your target audience?
That,
Mainly
yeah.
35 to 40 age, female.
Okay. And are they working? Are they housewives?
White collar. Yes.
What color in the area?
Okay. So you're looking at execs or management. Okay. Great. So that makes it already clear. Um, if you want to address them, make it special since you already know that probably 80% is going to be that category. Why don't you make it more enticing for them? That, for example, make this promotion specially for them. So it's actually, oh, it's for me. I'm part of this group. I'm getting the discount. I'm lucky, right? So, for example, if it would be a clinic for anybody, and you say like sort of like this month's especially Veterans Day for people over 65 or whatever, that is a target you want to anchor to, and you give them a special discount. Now, if your age group is specifically that, um, then I would make it relevant to them. So you're getting those people more. You basically go like for like the low hanging fruits, as they say, target them and make them feel special. Like that is me. I'm getting this. I should be going there. All right. And you have to figure out in KL what is your key visual, right? What are those ladies interested in? How would they like to see themselves? Right? That is how I would address it. The
So
easiest way and the most boring way is to have a doctor checking the pulse of like a lady in the mid 30s. That is kind of like this, yeah, it works, but it's nothing special, right? You figure out what those ladies, how do they spend their free time, right?
how about
So,
a lady, healthy ladies playing paddle? Because those are popular nowadays in Southeast Asia, paddle
okay,
or pickleball.
okay. Now you also have to make this visual then related to health. So it
Right.
doesn't come across as like a paddleboard advertising.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and the soft opening clinic promotion is, I don't know, it's probably important for you guys. Is it important for the customer? Promotion, yes. Clinic, yes. The soft opening, do they care? So if you have,
Maybe something new, right? Maybe people are interested in something
yeah,
new, a new place.
yeah, okay. And then like, then you go probably like to your promotion, your blood screening. Is this something they need? They say, I'm like, okay, I need to do this. If is this promotion then related to the paddleboard? I mean, like, is paddleboarding related to blood screening? If you can make this relevant in a visual. So, for example, figure out why they need blood screening.
Mm.
right? Is it because like they, I don't know, in Malaysia, like when do you require blood screening? If what is like the average age for like a woman in Malaysia to have the first child? It's probably below 30, huh? In
I
that
would
kind
say
of like
so. Late
below 30, right?
20s. Yep.
Late 20s, even if white collar.
White
Okay.
collar actually more toward early 30s.
So you're basically hitting that part in a way, like, right? Um, it's a much narrower beam shot if you sort of like you do like a screening because of childbirth. Um, so you don't catch all of like the other options. But then you can make this relating to the visual related to blood screening, why this is there, for example, for family planning, etc. Taking a break for the family blood screening, then you make this related to that promotion. Do you know like where I'm coming from? Like paddleboard, yes, great. This is kind of like something that it's trendy, but the danger is that like they misread that flyer for a paddleboard activity. So that is the harder part to, or you do a photo shoot and you have like two doctors paddleboarding in their full regalia, in their full like a lab coat, and it makes it a little bit kitsch and a little bit weird, but it could get their attention. That is a new trendy clinic. If this is something they want, maybe they say, they're too weird for me. Like I want something traditional. So you have to figure out your approach. What are the clients looking for? Why? Because that is the biggest thing in real estate on your flyer.
Yep.
Okay, think about it, make it relevant. Relevant ideally to your promotion. And comes across it's a new clinic.
How about the price? Because the normal price is kind of like small there. It's not, can't even see it. It's supposed to be 80, but it's not emphasized there. So there's a, so should there be a contrast? So NP, so you see that per package below it is in gray, NP,
Yeah.
and then valid until, so people should be aware, right? It's a, to create like, you know, this is limited. You better like hurry.
Yeah. Well, that is on your positioning really. If you do a hard sell, and you do like, I don't know what the savings is in there, it's like $25. It's 25 ringgit. Instead of like save 25 ringgit, valid only till 15th of December, and then you put the price in there. That is a very hard sell approach. I don't know if this is what you want as an image for the clinic.
I see.
But I understand where you're coming from. Make this the normal price a little bit more prominent, maybe not grayed out. Don't be afraid of showing like the normal price. Or you can have like your normal price and slash it, special promotional price until this and this day. That's your price. So it's kind of like the call for action is like, if you want to save some money, do it now. So do most of your potential customers know why they have to do a blood screening?
Actually, how this idea came about, it was proposed by our doctor herself. She said when she first, in her previous clinic, when she wanted traffic to just come in, so she actually did an ad for blood screening, and her visual was actually way more simpler than what I have.
You want to show that, Denise, her visual?
Sure.
Very, very
too simplified, but somehow it managed to bring in
Bring in
traffic.
traffic, yeah,
This is
that
it?
one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
that's
But according to her, the ad was effective because a lot of people came in. But from what I understand, they may not be our target audience. So
Right.
on my side, I had to make sure that our branding is strong so that we still attract maybe a broader range, but still near to who we are looking for.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes if it looks cheap, the ad looks cheap, then it looks like value. If it looks too classy, it looks already, oh, it's going to be expensive. Yeah, that is maybe why it worked. I have no idea, obviously. Yeah. Sometimes we can overthink
Yeah,
stuff, and sometimes the most simple stuff works.
yeah.
However, you have like different stuff to cook, and you have to cook your brand and you launch,
And
etc.
I mean, this one, even it's interesting, it's 99 ringgit, right? Ours is like what, 55, right?
Mm. Yep.
Yeah.
And no comparison whatsoever, like normal price, nothing, just
Yeah.
just 99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denise, can you show me your latest work then again?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you would combine or replace soft opening, yeah, clinic promotion. The word clinic is good because they know what they're looking at. If you don't have a relatable image, then you have to make it, you can use that area to like clinic opening promotion, blood screening 55. So you have everything together. They know why this is a promotion. And then you have your normal price in there and make it a bit more relevant. Yeah, that
Oh,
is
you mean put
again,
the price up there together with the picture, the special price?
you can try. Although I do like it as from like your clean layout on the left, it is very visible.
Mhm.
It doesn't relate to a clinic opening, like to a promotion, because like it is individual and it somehow it's not very dominant. And the word soft opening is always like it's not strong enough. Yeah, it is, and it doesn't relate to a promotion. It's like new clinic opening or a good clinic opening at whatever area that might be in KL. Promotion. Then you can rephrase it, and then you can use your before and after pricing in a way like. Right? But it has to be clear, right? We have to use as few words as we possibly can to make the people understand new clinic, that's your promotion and that's your saving. And act now because it's soon going to go away, the promotion. So that is something that you have to work with Dennis and digest it more and more and like come up with a couple of variants together with like a visual and then brainstorm it to see like what works better for you guys. So you have like your clinic image in there, but you still have a very strong promotion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Understand.
Thanks, F. Sorry, this one is taking a lot of time.
I know it's close to your heart.
I want to make sure people come in and spend money on our place.
The good doctor. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go next. Let me share my screen. Wait. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
So basically, before this, which I consider as a failed project, failed design, is this Eli Entrepreneur Leadership Institute. It's a training program dedicated for entrepreneur. So this is the layout design. So basically, as you can see, it's messy, and then the font size is not consistent, and too much image.
Okay.
So after that, we scrap all the design, and then we create this one. So this time we play with we make sure we play with the white space, and then we try to make the font as consistent as possible. And then we maintain with only one font, and then try not to put as much picture as possible.
Yeah. You know, like, well, what I like here is that like you took real scenarios in video on the top. So it looks relatable, you know, versus your first approach, where you've got static people standing there and like posing. Here you've got like a mid-session and people get curious. So I'm like, oh, I can see myself in there. And that it works because you're honest. Right? That is basically your empathy, you're seeing it from their eyes. Sort of like that is something achievable, versus kind of like your first approach, which is kind of very abstract. And it could be anything, right? So I think like it, yeah, great improvement.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Well done.
right, thank you.
Who wants to go next? Anybody else brave enough?
Should I go next?
Hi there.
Okay, halan ya. Share your screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so as usual, I'm working for ADM. For the emailer. So this is my first. I mean, it is earlier I used this type of emailer, which is uh the the approach is still the same as the target audience and also the objective of the EDM also are still the same, which is to promote our program. But previously we used the whole text. So this is basically how we used before, and this is the next one. So the next one I put like a lot of image instead, so that people will be more, I guess, attractive to see because got a lot of colors and also image. So this is now how we send out our EDM, and plus we can easily click here uh, for watch the video, and also can easily have a clear CTA. Okay.
Mhm. All right. Anybody else wants to comment on your colleagues' work here? Just in terms of like what could be done to improve this. Don't be shy. You have to get used to criticizing each other's work. This is how we all grow together.
There's still
What
a lot
would
of
you do?
words in there, in my opinion. It's still very busy. And then you read from left to right. But in this case, I think the direction kind of confusing. So I don't know which one to focus on first. I myself prefer left to right and then from top to bottom, right? And then as
So you would structure the blocks left aligned and then contents.
yeah,
Mhm.
either the pictures keep showing. If it's starting from that kind of horizontal type of picture, it will stay that way. So it's consistent.
Mm.
Yeah, but definitely it's a lot of words to read. And then there are still a lot of words too within the pictures also.
Yeah, I think like what Liana's tried to do here is like to create some kind of a dynamic in there to have like to make it less static. But at the same time, I agree with you. It's a bit confusing. If you have a lot of bigger topics and a lot of text. So in order to gain clarity, I would structure this your font sizes, right? See like what you can throw out, right? Your your spacing between like your text lines is very wide. So I know you try to make it a little bit lighter to read, but at the same time it becomes denser because your lines are very dense. See like what you can chalk off. Yeah. My approach is always like, if you think it is too much, throw away 30%. Somehow chop it. Make it easier to understand. Each of like the paragraphs you have in there should have like a subtitle. Right? And that subtitle needs to be a different font weight, it would be bolder, and maybe a different size than like your body text. So this makes it a little bit easier to read. Focus on like the key information the person needs to understand from each of your text blocks, right? And then you can gain a little bit clarity. And I think the suggestion like to put your images on the left and contents on the right is probably not a bad idea to try this out, to block this into like those bigger kind of like banner styles. Blocks would probably help. So people understand each block what this is for. Now we don't understand this. And every time when we have a question mark, when we look at stuff, we tend to skip and move on. So you will lose the audience very quickly. So think about main titles. If you need to have them inside of your images, maybe you don't, right? Maybe you don't need to have like a bubble background for it. That feels a little bit like a decoration. If it feels like a decoration, chalk it away. If you can solve your title inside of the picture in a different way, do it. I think previous week we saw like that some of our competitors' clinics, they were having a gradient from white into something. If this works, use it. If not, take the title out and put it on top of the text. Then at least they know, like, what are they reading, right? And if your main text is 20 points, your title would have to be double that, would be 40 points, and make it bold, right? You always differentiate it. So if you have main title at 80, subtitle, chop it in half, it would be at 40, and then your body text would be 20, right? And make them distinctly recognizable letters. That's the main, that's the sub, that's the contents, right? So simple rule for titles, chop it in half. So from 80 to 40 to 20. If this feels too much, too aggressive to you, then you can narrow them down a little bit from 80 to 60 to 40. But the base rule is double your titles as they go up, right? So body text 20, subtitle 40, main title 80, right? Play with it if it fits your balance. And your line spacing is a bit awkward. So make it more readable. Okay.
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 I just want to add, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can.
The curve of the image on top.
Curve.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's only me or, yeah, it's a bit weird, the curve. It's kind of like irregular and not consistent with the other images, the curve in the other images.
Like the proportion of the curve. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
It feels
just
that
a-
the mask has been scaled somehow.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well spotted, Dean.
The asymmetric, right? Asymmetric curve.
Yeah, maybe the mask has been stretched. That's
Yeah.
why it's a bit,
Like,
yeah, weird.
yeah. And also consider, do you need to have a curve in there at all? Because this is part of your soft approach to come through. Do you need it? Is it part of your design language which you're keeping pushing through? Is it part of your master guide for it? If it's not, then don't use round corners, right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next if nobody wants to go. It's
All
still gonna be a good clinic. I'm
Okay.
meeting an investor in 10 days. No, actually I'm gonna do this call next week, so it's very important. Let me show you. Right. So F. This slide, if you remember,
Yeah.
what are you looking at? Are you looking at my slide now?
Yeah.
Okay. Like you said last time, it's very busy, and then this is still busy, and then I clean it up like this. So, but that means I have to explain more, right? But this is the message: problems and opportunities, and then the numbers. Did I take out too many things?
Mm. So if you had like one phrase beside like the title here, how would you describe this slide to investor if you only had the opportunity for one sentence?
Okay. The reason why we come up with this clinic is because we know in Malaysia, there are top 5 lifestyle diseases. And then supposed to be top 5, right? But so diabetes, overweight, and then this supposed to be comprised of these 3 items: cardiovascular, hypercholesterolemia, hypertension. But in order to simplify, I put them all together since they're under one category anyway, cardiac. So all these problems, the Malaysia's top 5 lifestyle diseases, become our opportunities to address. So we came up with the solution,
Yeah.
the DOC. So I'm trying to simplify all these problems with our opportunities using this.
Okay. So the investor sees this instead of like you've got okay, so
We have an
integrate
answer
your-
for each one of this. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah. So, but you don't answer the question what you're going to be doing about it, right? So they see, okay, there's a problem, that area, and then you got your 3 letters for it.
Right. I mean, that's got to be answered later on in this slide.
Right.
The products, these are the
Yeah.
actual products later on. So from this, we only talk about the problems and opportunities, and then we talk about the market size.
Mm.
This is the population of Malaysia, and then narrow it down to our target market, which is the 14 million adults with these problems. And then we narrow it down again to people who have capabilities to pay for this,
Yeah.
10 grand a year. And then now this is at our clinic level. Potentially we can reach 1,800 annual paying clients. I changed the design, by the way. Used to be like
I
this.
saw that.
Yeah. And then now like this.
Yeah, this is year 1, right? And then you've got year 2, etc. I see. Yeah, I see like the problem like with like your slide number 3.
Is it too simplified? Do I have to explain more?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel everything is spaced out that it wants to occupy all of like the page, which makes it a little bit hard to understand. You've got 2 blocks basically, which are related, but so you have got that part and you've got that part, right? So you've got your problem and opportunities, which are related, but problems, they are also related, opportunities also related. I would probably condense this a little bit. Work with your alignment, the center alignment, I don't think it works. And probably have like your problem and solution into one line. In this case, maybe a divider line makes sense. So you have your problems and opportunities. The contents is still okay what you have. I would just block them horizontally. It's kind of like you have like a divider line between like diabetes reversal, right? But you're
so
talking about type 2 diabetes, right? In
yeah.
this case.
So
Um,
you're talking about something like this, something like this.
or just a simple line between all of like these groups, you know?
Something like that?
I wouldn't add more blocks to it. I would probably just put a line here because you can keep your problems and opportunities together as one. Like
So just a simple line connecting them.
just a line dividing like those three, no, under 18 and diabetes. Like a dividing line between like your first problem,
Oh,
the second
a
problem.
horizontal line
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, but block it out. So, and then align everything to the left, your problems,
Uh-huh.
and your icon, you probably would put this also to the left. So it's consistent with your DOC, which is also on the left. Move your icons to the left and
Oh,
your
so this is reverse. This is sorry,
correct. Then you do it exactly as like the
like this.
DOC. Yeah, and then you align this on your left.
Oh, aligned.
Much better. Yeah. More balanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then this one moves out also on the left.
I see.
Yeah, that is, then it would work a little bit
I see.
cleaner.
So this makes more sense this way, huh?
Your header, I don't really get it. Or the sick
Yeah,
care, smart care, longevity. I can connect it to the content, the header and the
Okay. So you're saying it's not a line, it's supposed to be like a block?
no, the line is fine. You just make
Oh,
sure like it goes from like the beginning of like your icon to then you have the same space on from the border to over and then you can space them a little bit. Okay, something like this. And I agree with Dean. The title's supposed to be addressing what you're looking at. So you read the title and understand exactly what your content is here.
okay. Maybe it's more like top lifestyle diseases in Malaysia to be addressed, something along that line.
Something like what your focus is, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to write on the percentage. They can add a percentage themselves because they're overlapping anyways, yeah. You've
Correct.
got overweight with diabetes, so it's part of the same group. Cardiometabolic disease is partially the same, I guess. So they can add them to themselves in the head. You don't have to come up with an L percentage for it. But I agree with Dean, like the title has to be explicit, telling the observer what this is, right?
Yep.
Okay. And yeah. Yeah, so like you just balance everything like to left, opportunities, you stay as it is. And then you can balance it throughout like your page to make it less exploded, you know. You can compact this a little bit. You
Yeah.
can bring like the lines up a little bit closer together and your text blocks and stuff. So it is a little bit more condensed. Yeah. You know, this is like PowerPoint is such a terrible design tool. I feel for you guys that you have to use that. I'm just not a big fan of it.
you will hurt Carl's feelings if you say that. Carl
Yeah,
loves PowerPoint.
I know. It is just so hard to make something look good straight out of the box. Okay, this might be a little bit too tightly tracked, but I mean, like you have to play with your font sizes and stuff like this here. Okay, you probably need a bit more space between your lines there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like your title style is a little bit okay here with the yellow. I don't look at it, but generally it looks a little bit too standard template from PowerPoint. The first thing what you get is that, and don't just change the. It might be too big, the entire font.
Really?
Yeah,
This is too big. Oh,
I think it's too big. Yeah. Once you have figured, yeah, this is much better, sort of like, and then your problems and opportunities make it a little bit smaller, and then you have a little bit of a better balance in there. And yeah, the alignment of the title, then you would have to also figure out how to do this. And left align here your text, so you can space this easier. Yeah, all right. Okay. It might be a bit too small comparisons to like the main text in like the body. So you have to figure out like the right balance here. Okay. And the placement of like the main title has to be consistent, obviously, slightly throughout like your slides. Try not to make this to fit your text completely. Move this down and move it right a little bit. Well, not too much, not too much. Yeah, a little bit further up. Okay, you will figure out like the balance. So it has to flow. The title, okay. So you have to figure out like your catch copy for like the slide. You read this, you understand it.
okay.
And then you balance each of like the elements out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and unfortunately, like it's Microsoft, the base templates are rubbish. The
Yeah.
advantage you have and with PowerPoint is there are a lot of good templates out there, and if you like them, buy them. They cost what, like $20 or something like this. The better ones, because there are just so many out there. This is your advantage of like PowerPoint. You don't have to figure out everything yourself.
I'll fix this later, but
Okay.
I get your point.
Yeah.
Another I mean, I made a lot of changes. Like this one used to be, if you remember, used to where did it go? Oh, here. Used to be like this, right? And then I changed it to this.
Like if you're introducing lines, just an idea here, you could use equally just a line between D, O, and C, like two lines here, and remove like the text blocks, like those big boxes. That would give you consistency throughout like all of the other designs, if you need them in there, right?
So
Yeah, use those elements, lines, only if you really need them. If you really need to separate that stuff. Here also, I would align all the text to the left. So in diabetic reversal, basic, extended, bullet points, price, align this to the left. You don't have to center align it. It looks a bit weird.
okay.
Yeah.
So, oh,
Okay.
Oh, I know what I did.
You have to play with your font
Yeah.
setting there with your tabbing and so forth. Yeah. And then like the D, you could also put it at the beginning because it doesn't make sense that you have got it in the middle now. Also left align the D. And your pricing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. If you do the whole thing to rest, it will gain a bit more clarity. Yeah. Center align is something, it can work in some cases, but most of the time it just throws everything out of whack. All right. I think like let's move on like to, oh, shall we have a quick break? And
Yes,
then
we
we can
should.
move on like, yeah. Okay. I was thinking like 5 minutes, then we're back. Okay. All right, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Morning, F.
Hey,
Are you traveling to Singapore soon? You are on mute. You're on mute. F, you are on mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sarah, I can hear you.
F,
we-
you have been
ah,
on mute.
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, it was like the pump of my insulin pump of my daughter beeping in the background. She keeps on letting this fly around somewhere. So I know a thing about too about diabetes. So Ori, thank you for sharing this. I know like you're not in your comfort zone with design, and I appreciate that you are very forward about it. We all learn every day, and I think it's great of you to venture into the madness of like design and layout to get the thing as you really want it. Thank you. So, do you want to review some more or shall we proceed?
Can I go next?
Yeah.
I'm not too far from Ori in terms of design and creative thinking. It's very similar. But let me showcase what we did based on the feedback. I'll be sharing my screen.
Okay.
Let me do it full screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the earlier slide that we had, and it was, you suggested that we divide it into two parts, the WMI solutions, because it's taking too much text. So we did some thinking and we came out with showing some graphs instead of numbers for 1, 2, and 4 here. And then the second slide with the skills gap and the WMI solution. So this is one slide. Growing HNI base, industry growth momentum, and rising private banker demand with acute shortage. Followed by this, the skills gap, and what we offer as a solution, industry first, structured, benchmarked, practical skill-based training.
Well, you know your target audience the best. Do you know like what they understand and what resonates with them? If you want to use charts instead of text, that is one way to go. I would assume that like not everybody is on the same page as you are. Maybe you will have to I would probably create two slides where I have some text contents supporting my graph. So some people don't want to read the text, they just look at the graph. It's fine.
Right.
So you have, instead of like your initial slide where you've got everything in text, you could create a slide where like you've got text supporting my
Yep.
graph to make it
Right.
very clear. Instead of just switching completely over to a graph, which makes the information somehow less important because you're throwing everything in, right? If this is like your market opportunity, and like that is obviously like one of the key selling points for you, I would hammer this in as like a text graph approach, text graph approach. Not everything on one slide. You maybe have 2 slides for it if you can manage this. That is what I would do. So you can be I know like that PowerPoint has got a lot of options
Right.
when how you do graphings, etc., etc. You have to choose the one which you think translates easiest, fastest, the points you want to come across with, and yeah, something like your audience is really familiar with, so they can understand it. Yeah,
Got it.
that
So
is
this,
good.
and
Here,
for
I would
this,
balance this out a bit. This is like still a lot of gap here. So I'm like, your solution here, this WMI solution refers to like the 4 bullet points below, right?
right,
Okay, then and the skill gap
the first 3.
is the first, right? I would align this also to your left.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, and if like your skill gap and your solution is the same basically as in terms of like importance,
Right.
use the same font size for it, and then bring them a little bit closer together, but still a bit separate. Now, the top part is just floating away.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Oh, you want this as well to,
This would be like the same as WMAI solution,
okay.
the
Okay.
same font size. And then the same alignment.
Got it.
And you probably have to bring this to all the way to the left where like your industry first text
Yep.
is. And then you can space the top 3 blocks which you have under the skill gaps similar to your spacing as you have below. So like they both
Align. Okay.
aligned together. Yeah. And then you
Got
bring them both closer together. So your bottom white space and your top white space similar. Right. But you still have 2 clear blocks of like skill gap
Right.
and your solution. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So this was the first one. In terms of the second slide, this was the previous version. What we came out was this in terms of the current Momenta clients, and sorry.
Right.
It looks more busier now than
Yeah, it looks
this
very
one. Yeah.
Yeah. This here again, use images when you have to. So if you feel that it's absolutely needed, keep it, but I would probably throw it out. Then you have to figure out like what is the most important part in here that you have to.
I think this one.
All right. So I would probably throw that image out.
Okay.
And okay, and then I would all of the logos here, I would convert them into gray.
Okay.
So that is, you might have to just
Yeah,
screenshot this.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, once you align them all into one line, because now they're becoming too
Right.
important, right? It's not, they're supposed to be supporting you, right?
Right. Right.
Convert them into the same grayscale.
Grayed out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then you align everything to the left and you balance it out. So it,
Perfect. Okay.
yeah.
Now the next slide, this was the second version that we created last time. Now this one, we did something like that.
Okay, this is much cleaner. Yeah.
It still needs a little bit of alignment on the program modules, but yeah.
Yeah. For me, it feels a little bit that like your titles here, your blue titles are floating above everything.
Yeah.
I would move them closer to your main text block, but you still have some spacing in there. Move your icons so they align on the height from your first fundamentals. So you can bring your approach and your programs titles a bit lower, and then you can balance everything out a bit. Right.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, this is amazing. I like it.
Then the next one is, this was the earlier one, and this is what we created then. From here, like this was more different, and then coming out to this one.
Okay. I think like what you've got with your icons and with your supporting text is, I think, great. What I would still change here is the height of the pictures, right? I would probably like clip them down a little bit more narrow, your mask in there, the pictures. Because now they're taking away half of your real estate, right? The important part is your main contents. So clip the height of like the images, probably move like the white titles down lower in there. And if you're using a gradient here, which is good to make the text stand out, I would use the starting gradient as the same color as your main corporate color, the blue. Now I think it is black.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So the more consistent you are with your color use, the less clutter you're creating, right? The less divergence of like the elements. And then you can push everything up a little bit, and then you've got your key visuals in there, but your main contents has to go up a little bit. Yeah.
Got it.
And then you have to consider, do you need a line in there? Is it necessary?
No, we can remove it.
And if you are using like an image for it, try to use the image as the same width as your text. So your text doesn't go escaping from like your main framing. If you put like a line down from your main, from the right side of your image, this is where your text is supposed to be ending, right?
Right.
So either you do a wrapping on this or you extend your frame of like your image.
Got it.
But make it more narrow in height, the images. So like they're just supporting, right? They're not the main actor. Okay, good.
All right. Yeah. So, yep, that's it. I think pretty much. I think we got a lot of ideas in last two sessions, and we could take it a level up. So
Great.
it's more cleaning. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So just like Audie, I also need to present.
You also need to present. Okay, good. So you got the delight to be under pressure. That is always good. But yeah. But it's like you've got a great team of like creative people around you. Just reach out. I say like ask, what can we do with it? When looking for advice, make sure that like it's not about teaching you how to do certain things in PowerPoint. That is like something you have to figure out yourself. But in terms of like structuring, I think the team will be definitely helpful.
Right. Yeah, that's where a lot of brainstorming came into picture. We started thinking about graphs, started thinking about how to place it. So I think it came a long way in the first version of it, and now what we see.
You know, like what I realized also, I haven't looked around since like I started with like this session. All that training that is out for PowerPoint is mainly has to do with like how to use PowerPoint.
Right.
And that is such a weird thing. It is like if you want to learn how to drive, and the only thing what you get is like how to repair your engine, that is very frustrating. It is like because PowerPoint is so complex, you have got so much stuff in there, which most of the people don't use. It's there. It's a bit awkward. It's like those presets you've got on Instagram, right? A picture and you want that filter for it. You just click it, bigger, bigger, bigger. It doesn't teach you anything about photography. It doesn't teach you anything about color. It just gets immediate gratification.
Right.
And that is somehow how PowerPoint works. People don't learn how to use it. People don't just learn how to use their preset tools. And that is somehow like a bit of a disadvantage for the users because they can't really progress. They just know how to use certain elements inside of PowerPoint and they don't know why it works. So it is a bit Microsoft approach. Apple is a bit different. They don't give you all the bells and whistles. They give you like the basic parts. You can make charts by making boxes and linking them together and arranging them. That's basically it. Right? That is okay. Some of the charting they have, but not comparative to PowerPoint. So people working with keynotes in Apple have to think more, have to work more, but they also learn more. So this is the weird thing. There's the Apple approach versus your PowerPoint, Instagram, click the button, get some results basically, but without learning how to really filter an image and what makes it tick. So anyways, I'm a big fan of Microsoft, obviously. Right?
We all are,
Yeah. Very
especially
true.
after the session.
Yeah. But for some reason, everybody is stuck with PowerPoints. Right? It is just a crazy mystery. However, there are a few tools out there which are really challenging PowerPoint. I just read some article yesterday, what it's called, like Open Office, or I don't know what it was called, or like something, which is number one, it's free. It's cross-compatible between Apple and Windows and Unix. It supports PPTX. You can save PPTXs. You don't have discrepancies. The fonts don't fall apart, etc. And you have a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of plugins being written for it. So that's a new big contender for it. But maybe it doesn't work. So I don't know. For the moment, you guys are stuck with PowerPoint. So so be it. All right. Shall we continue with the session? Yeah. Then
Yes.
I'll take over the screen. Let me just see, what do I have here? Okay. So your framework, concept, structure, message, execution. It is another set of like basic rules that will help you guide your creative efforts into something a bit more structured. Yeah. Concept. It has to do with like what a design has to say, right? Without clarity, everything else falls apart. So in my view, everything starts with your base concept. For example, right? Design a tech event poster. Let's get for a moment out of your comfort zone, make something completely different where you have freedom to experiment. And you're not stuck with your concepts of like what you have to do on your day-to-day basis. Might it PowerPoint, might it like Insta posting, might be LinkedIn posting. Think completely different. You have freedom to decide like, okay, I can do something completely different. To do a tech event poster, and your concept would be complex ideas made accessible. That's your concept. And you create the poster out of this. Or another example would be like to create a poster. I'm particularly seeing it now here for posters because it's something everybody's seen. It is something like which everybody can do. It is one piece and carries one message, basically. A poster for a dog shelter, right? So your concept would be from abundant to love. And you have like, how does this all work? And there are certain things which will guide you through the creation of it. Obviously, like for each one, your concept is the most important part, which you have to translate into your execution of the poster. There's one example I found on somewhere online, maybe on Pinterest. And it does the thing extremely well. So complex ideas made accessible. Obviously, it's a tech event, so you've got techies attending it, and techies react to certain things, right? So when you're creating like a visual for it, and with your concept, complex ideas made accessible, make simple, understandable, you're using certain elements. For example, you're using objects in like this poster, and it spells out build. Most of the tech companies are coding some product or some structures or some workflows. And the main tool for them is to build and to code software. And this poster just illustrates for them that there are objects inside of your build. And those brackets there, that is part of your coding language for certain elements. So techies would relate to this. So I get it. That's clean. It's simple using object related like coding, I don't know, C++ or whatever, like they might be using a Python, which is object oriented. Then you've got objects inside of the build, pump, pump, beam. It's simple, clear, Microsoft build, date, place. They get it. Other people walking past this poster have no idea what you're talking about. But this poster is not for them. The poster is for the coders. So complex ideas made simple. You don't have to show a background with like a three-dimensional matrix unfolding and like lasers coming through space for a tech event because you're not selling a game. You're selling an event for techies, right? So that illustrates very clearly a concept built into reality, right? So I convert it to something very practical, understandable. And for the concept as a dog shelter poster, from abandoned to love, there's also something I found somewhere. That illustrates this beautifully. So the concept is met, right? Abandoned dog wants to be a love dog. And the concept, the call for action is here. So I have like, make a difference, adopt a pet today. Boom, and then if you got a logo of like that weird pet shelter thing. I would put more stuff in there, like maybe a QR code or something that makes it more call for action. Because most of the people don't know where this thing is. They would have to Google it. So like they miss a chance for them like to interact directly. But the poster executes on like the concept. And here it comes, the caveat is basically the use of images. As they say, an image is worth more than 1,000 words. So we don't have to write so much. If you have the right images, we use them. And finding those images, believe me, it's super hard. It's terrible. You've got something in your head, what you want, that, can't find it. Or you find it, it's not in your ethnic framework that you want to portray. And, or it is the wrong situation, or it is the wrong angle, or it is the wrong lighting, it doesn't fit to your concept. So it is very hard to find the right images. But nowadays we've got AI, so we can generate pretty much whatever we want. And henceforth, use images that really work, where you can take maybe another 50% of your words, throw them away, use the right image, right? So that would be the concept, right? Concept, from abandoned to love, illustrate this as clearly as you can with empathy and with a target and with a call for action. And today we're going to have a couple of activities. They would probably not take longer than 10 minutes. I will be sharing with you a worksheet. If I get out of the screen. Let me just see this. Very spiced up. So I am uploading a activity sheet into the chat. This is for you. If you want to work in groups, if this is somehow possible, if you're in the same office or not, or if you can do this online, to create a simple poster. Right? It doesn't need to be a piece of art because we have very limited time. I'd say like 10 minutes. Look for something, make a sketch. It doesn't make a difference. It's a concept, right? It's not a final piece. You choose either beach cleanup event, a landing page for a meditation app, or a social media promoting a healthy lunch choice. You have to come up with a concept for it. It means like a very short sentence. What do you want to achieve with this, right? Similar to concepts here, take event poster. So for example, it would be meditation landing app, and then what you want to achieve, right? It could be like from a busy afternoon to complete clarity, or something like this. Let's see. Or a beach cleanup event. So you figure out your concept and how you would execute this basically, right? That is an activity, and that would be the concept generator sheet, your problem, a purpose you're solving, who's the audience, what is your core idea, and concept, right? You just write down the concept for what you want to do. We don't have to generate any kind of artwork for it. Yeah? Okay. I'll give you until, what time is it over there? Is it until Singapore 4 o'clock? Then we'll meet again. Yeah? Okay. I'll let you do your thing. Does everybody have the session sheet in your meeting chat?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Then I'll see you at 4 o'clock.
Jadi bisa diproses setelah kopi juga.
Hello? All right. Was this more or less clear and easy to do?
Still
All right.
doing.
Still going. Okay.
F, can you show us the tree option? Thank you.
I remind you, is your key objective here is to come up with a concept, right? Which is a short phrase to describe what this poster or landing page or social post will be about. Anybody already finished? If so, then we can just, I would just share like maybe like 3 of you guys. You will share your screen. Okay, that is interesting. So Saurabh, do you care to comment on your concept?
Sure. So this is for the beach cleanup, and the target audience is the kids, 7 to 11 years old. And we wanted to make it a regular cleanup activity, which starts every Sunday, and people can register directly through the site. And it shows little kids picking up. So little hands, but big hearts to keep our beaches beautiful. So it's simple concept, trying to gain more momentum, and you would all are welcome. Kids aged 7 to 11, and they know the location, they know where to register, and just show up there.
Okay. And
The
okay.
hidden message is like we want it to be a regular activity every Sunday, or kind of getting them into that motion or rhythm.
Okay. It's great. This is a lot. I didn't expect that like you find something so quickly. The key objective would be like to figure out your concept as like a one phraser, get a couple of words in a short sentence, the audience and your core idea. That you found a visual to support this, great. All right. So let's see. Denise.
Yeah,
Where
I
you go?
think I'll share my screen directly.
Okay.
Okay. So for me, it's also the beach cleanup. So purpose is to get people excited to clean the beach. So I came up with 3 concepts. First is get your hands dirty. So the visuals I am envisioning very close-up shots of, say, a person holding a very filled up rubbish bag. So it emphasized a lot about the output of the initiative. So It's a bit dirty, but I think some people may be attracted to that dirty kind of hard labor messaging. So that's a bit on a contrast to what you usually see. So second concept, I wanted focus on the cleaning tools. So one idea came up is the God of the Sea Triton. So the campaign could be godly. So it ties up tools, but as you hold the tools, you become a certain persona. But of course, you have to find the right kind of persona to tie with the visuals of the tools. Then third is more kid friendly, so clean my home. So the main visuals will be like crab there with a speech bubble, say clean my home, like something a bit more cutesy stuff. So yeah, these are the three concepts that I have in mind.
Interesting. Okay. I think the clean my home idea is interesting. I don't know if you envision the same way as I do. I would have like my home full of beach rubbish thrown all over the place on like the sofa and everywhere, and then and the kids playing in the middle of the carpet, in the middle of the garbage. And so I have like clean up your beach, clean up your home, something like this. I think interesting. Okay, who else? Azato, you got your healthy snack, huh?
Yes. So for this one, I worked with Liana to come up with the problem statement, the target audience, the core idea, and so the problem that we are solving is to inspire quick, delicious, and nutritious lunch choice. So that is why we are showing the healthy salad bowl. And the audience we are targeting is the health conscious individuals looking for simple ways to improve their daily eating. Since it is for a social media ad, so we are targeting young adults, 20 to 40 age range, who are active in social media platforms. And the idea is so that the visual will scream that I want to eat this now and I can, something like that. So that is why the salad bowl is the main in the visual. And for the alternative concepts, more towards salad, the crave worthy salad, and the building your power bowl concept, and also your 5-minute reset. So this is one of the concept that we came up with.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. So the core here is to figure out how to generate your concept, right? You've got like one task, and you have to figure out how to frame this. And to come up with a concept is number one. Without a concept, we can't really start. You're just starting throwing words at something without knowing why we're doing it. So yeah, concept generator is audience, core idea, and what kind of problems we are addressing here. Now we want to solve this. Okay, well done. Let me continue with the slides.
Thank you.
Okay. Number two, structure. All right. There's probably some of like the solutions most of you are looking for when it comes to layout design, is how do we structure this? Yeah. what kind of hierarchy does this flow in? How to make it clear. Of course, we have to find the right words which lead the person to follow that structure. So it is clear, readable, and we can then influence how the person is reading and assimilating the information we want them to absorb, right? If you don't have a structure in there, then it is confusing. It is very hard to process, and people normally give up. So our job is in creating a world-class design is to have clarity in there and give them structure so we can guide them. Read this, act on this, right? So for that, we need to have contents, which is clear. We need to understand the audience so we can guide them. We know what they want, and then we have to execute accordingly to that. So one of the patterns would be commonly used is like there's a hero visual is normally like top, middle, down, kind of like a Z pattern. This is somehow how the brain tends to read, especially in shorter posts, which are rich in visuals, right? And then you have like the leading visuals, and then you go here, and then you put the copy at the bottom part of it. So you can influence how they look. So again, here, if you're using visuals as your background, figure out where the person is starting, where you want them to lead, how the eye is traveling, and then you can start putting text into the visual that helps them read and finish your message and hopefully get it. Some other pattern is an F pattern. It doesn't really make a difference, like if you want to choose one or the other. It's just how the brain is working, right? For text-heavy documents, that is how we read. Is how we read newspapers. Top titles, bam, then subpart, and then you follow, and then we go down. That is the standard flow of information. Then again, like we need to understand it if you want to break it, right? The other one is a card layout, several blocks, which are repetitive structures. So we have to follow a certain predefined pattern from pattern A, B, and C. They have to follow the same flow so we don't lose them, so they can compare the information if they're comparable, or they are the opposite, so they can still compare the information. But there would be a other way how to structure your patterns. And then a strong vertical, where you have like one part separated by the next one. So your alignment is strongly vertical. You don't have bouncing boxes left and right. And then again, here your hierarchy. Your hierarchy is like we showed previously, and like I think in our first session, is that like it's important that you lead the observer in the contents. Make them read what you want them to read. So that is also important. So the weight of the font, the size of the font, they're all important. Where they are placed on the page. If you are placing them onto like a image, which makes it harder to read, or into a colored backdrop box, which makes the text a negative text, meaning like the text is lighter than the background, makes it also harder to read. But it is your choice when it comes to layout. And then a grid layout, how to structurally lay out everything. Grid layouts, there are plenty out there. You can create your own. You can have like predefined ones, probably in PowerPoints. You have certain grids in there if you click it on to see like what kind of grid layouts you want. Otherwise, they're in templates. There are plenty out there, but most of them follow a certain style. right? So having seen this between, and go back through here, a Z pattern, F pattern, card layout, strong verticals, hierarchy, clean grid. What we do next is layout blocking, right? So you choose your favorite concept from your activity, right? The one you created. And then you create a simple wireframe, right? Using shapes. We could be like a big block here, big block there, big block there. Doesn't make a difference. You can knock this out in PowerPoint in a couple of minutes, right? And then you tell us, you take a screenshot of it, etc., and you let us know why this particular structure would be working in this kind of concept you choose, right? So we're still working on the same concepts from before, like that healthy lunch, that what is like the app, etc. From the previous set. Choose the one you are working with, and now you throw in a layout on top of it. How would you present it, right? Do you need more text, less text? What is your idea about this? Here again, we can do like 5 to 10 minutes. I think 5 minutes is plenty to do, yeah? And you just fill in, let me just send this out to you guys. Where is your chatter? Pop, pop, pop. There we go. Okay. I just sent it up in the chat, PDF. So choose your favorite concept from activity number 1, right? You write it out, what it was. And then if you have like an horizontal poster, if you've got like a, I don't know, your social posting in a certain size, maybe like it's a LinkedIn, a longer one, or if it's a tall one, choose your preferred layout for it. And then just with big boxes, put them into like that square frame and let us know like why you choose that particular layout. Okay. I'll see you here at 4:25. Okay. So whoever is done and ready, you can upload it to your chat. Okay. Siarir, if I pronounce this correctly or not, I don't know. Siarir, please comment on your health food.
So basically, this is for the social ad promotion, targeting people living in the city. So it's using the Z shape, Z structure. So the top part is the tagline, meaning healthy food is cheap. And then there's a comparison between fast food, for example, KFC, and also some good food. But you can just create that recipe at home, which costs even cheaper. And then the bottom part is the CTA.
Mhm.
Am I doing correctly?
Okay. There is no correct or right here or wrong. That is however you want to structure your layout. Okay, very good. And Denise, you have created like a visual also for it
Yeah.
that you're using. Can you describe your text block placements?
Yeah. So visual wise, it highlights a lot on the back. So that will be the key visual. And then the catch line will be get your hands dirty. So similar to what Shari did, the Z thing. So it's clean, it's minimal. I think the details wise will be minimal as well. The main focus will be on the visual side. So
Right.
that's how I would structure the poster, the artwork.
And you choose this central alignment structure for what reason?
I feel that there's a lot of movement in the middle, like the gripping of the bag. So I think the focus is a lot on the middle. So I thought maybe we could just focus all the focus in the middle.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is good. There's here again, like there's no right or wrong. It's just like how you would structure it. Right. Can we have one more sample from anybody? Okay. Otherwise, we'll just continue. Third one, message. Right. Here is how you control your audience, what they should think, feel, and do. Right. is how you transform your concept, your initial one-liner, into an emotionally impact message, right? And you can control how you want to guide them, right? Playful, professional, urgent, calm, reassuring, right? You are shaping the feelings, not just visuals, right? It's like your emotional impact, your empathy with like the person who is actually looking at this message. So here again is the message is your soul. For example, right? I can help. Hope, right? Or this is useful for me. They feel confident. And if your message is really important, right? Then they feel motivated. So like it's a very emotional way how to engage with the people. You can be very direct, right? Authoritarian, it's sort of like command obey. For some people, it does work in a way like so. But it is your ability to guide them in a emotional state, you know, in a way how to engage with them on like their mind, on their heart, on their fears, on their aspirations. That is how you can then structure this. And here we will just take 5 minutes. We do the same thing again, the intent of the message. And I'll drop this into the chat quickly. And so here again, we continue the flow of like the art piece we were working on. Who is it for? What should they think? What should they feel, right? What tone supports that feeling? So we're basically progressing step by step and refining the entire process, right? From the original concept to like how we want to structure this. And now we are going into like, how do we want to deliver this message? Sort of like, how do we engage with them emotionally? How do we get them to listen, right? To make it relevant for them. So this one here, 5 minutes, just jot down some of your ideas so you gain more clarity in this. And I think 5 minutes should be good enough. But what have you over there? It's 4:35. And whoever is ready can just please post it in the meetings chat. Thank you. Okay. Are we all back? So let me just release my shared screen so you can share if you want to. So surprising new catch copy here. Thierry, can you explain?
Basically, since we need to have a tone, right? So, and then at the same time, we need to capture people's attention walking down the street. So when they say that you are poor, they will get shocked. It's like, what the hell? So they will look closely, then they will understand that, oh, actually eating healthy food is cheaper rather than buying fast food. So they will say that, okay, how is that possible? Then they will start to scan the code. So the
Okay.
idea is to shock the people.
Okay. So it's a tough copy to pull off correctly, without shaming people that eat healthy food and they feeling guilty that they come across as poor. So with negative copies, it's very tricky to pull this off, I think. But that's the good thing about doing stuff which is not your day-to-day stuff. So you have more freedom to think and take it a little bit more lighter and come up with new ideas. And I think, well, I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I think it's definitely funny. Okay, and who else do we have? Isatul, please share your comments.
Yes. So this message intent is for the previous visual that we did, me and Liana did. So who is this visual for? Is for the health conscious individuals, young adults, 20 to 40 age who are active on social media. And then what should they think after seeing this visual? That, oh, this is an easy lunch idea that I can make or even buy today. And the third one is what should they feel when they watch this visual is, oh, I want to eat this now and I can. And the last one is what tone supports that feeling is empowering and motivational. Because at the top side, we mentioned that choose the meal your body thanks you for. So it is empowering and also intentional.
Okay.
And sorry, and motivational.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That's all.
Good. You know that the tricky part here is it's my mistake. I wasn't very clear. That we don't have to generate a visual upfront, right? This is basically a roadmap to find the right visual, right? So you figure out what is your concept, that, and then you message the them, and then, sorry, previously your layout, how we want to structure this, yeah, and then what is your message? So I've once you have got all of those components and you don't have a clear design in your head, what you want to do, this is the roadmap that enables you to search for the right clue, right? What you now did, you were describing your visual and justifying it in those sentences. Supposed to have been around without the visual, you build a structure, you roadmap, that, and then you find a visual for it, or you create something out of it. If you need to create something out of it, maybe you can just do it with text, also possible, right? So that is a way how to structure your intent of your design work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That is also fine. Sometimes you back engineer it the other way and you have to find the words why this is actually working. It also can work. Some people tend to conceptualize fast. Some people have great ability to create visual representations in their mind. Some of them, they can't at all. There are also people like this. Some people, they can think in 3D extremely clearly and visualize 3D extremely clearly. Some people have absolutely no ability how to do this. What is this condition called? Where you aphantasia. Aphantasia is the inability to create visuals in your mind's eye. Some people have that, aphantasia. Sounds like a movie, but it's not. It's a condition that some people have, and they tend normally to venture more into mathematics or accounting, something to do with numbers, where the brain is better at than creating visuals. And they don't understand what it means. I see this in my mind's eye. They say, like, what are you talking about? If they think about a cat, they don't think about a cat. They can't see a cat. They have other feelings about this thing. If a person is very good at creating visuals in their mind, and so think about a cat, and then you ask themselves, like, what is the coat and the fur color or the eye color? And it can describe it in clear detail because they can see it, right? They see the movement of the cat, how it's behaving, etc. They can visualize this. If you're a person like this, then you tend to visualize first and then build your roadmap, which unless you're extremely talented or extremely experienced, is great. In most cases, it is easier to follow a roadmap step by step and then build your visual structure accordingly, right? Your visual structure, your text combination structure, etc., how you want to represent this, right? But this is individually completely different. Some people are very fast and good at creating visuals and combinations of text and impact straight out of the bat, mainly because of experience. Some have just got raw talent. Some of them have a very hard time doing this. So the easy way is to follow this simple roadmap for it. Okay.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. Who else do we have? Okay.
Let's ask Joanna-me since we haven't heard her voice for today.
Okay. Very good.
Yep, so mine is I also choose the beach cleanup. So the concept was the title of the concept was the wave of change. So the target are local youth, family, and eco-conscious. And I want them to think that the small act that they do, if they work together to protect the marine life as well as the community. And what I want them to feel, I visualize is that they should be energized to join the activity and hopeful for the change that they want to happen on that event, and empower them that the small act that they do is it's a big impact on the environment. And what tone I want them that will support that feeling is I want the visual to be bold, uplifting, and use colors that is uplifting and vibrant as well.
All right. Good. Do you think like that this exercise actually helped you in terms of like coming up with like a better visual for this kind of like a task?
For me, actually, I am a visual person. I prefer creating it right away rather than putting it on text. So, yeah. But this is helpful because in doing this kind of framework, you don't need to redo things. You already put all of your ideas in one page and then before you actually do the actual visual. So it's less rework because all of your concept and ideas are already in place.
Right. Yeah, that's basically what like that roadmap is for. Like as with everything, sometimes you build your roadmap, but you can't figure out how to make this work. Then you probably start generating some visuals and try to make it work in back engineer your roadmap. This also can work, but the roadmap is in place so you can know your key objectives, what you want to do. And also that helps you form a certain style in your message that you can bring across multiple, for example, LinkedIn postings that carries the same intent. You already have like the audience. You know what they should think and feel, right? So you can then adjust your visuals or your key message according to a certain pre-established parameters that work. So without having to come up with a visual and then rethink it for the next time because you don't know what it's actually saying. So that is basically your checklists to create consistent good work that creates some kind of like the reaction that you want from your audience. Okay, let's move like to the final one. Your execution, right? That is where your ideas become real, right? Generally only after a foundation has been built, right? If you're very experienced, then it is easier to build a structure, your foundation fast, your 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. And you understand it. And you can just create out of this understanding. But for that, it requires practice and years of experience normally, right? Unless you're a genius. So this is why like we want to be sticking to like the 4 steps in this roadmap. On the execution, we would be focusing on color, the visual language, the style, and typography. When it comes to your color, there are online a lot of like areas where you can choose your color palette. If you don't already have one, if you have a brand guide, you normally have a color palette that you're going to be using. If you are developing a brand guide for your brand and you don't have one, you'll figure this out by choosing colors that work together, right? They could be used then for supporting your message emotionally, not only just as brand, yeah. For the visual language is to reinforce your message, yeah, not to distract. Choose your visuals that support the key message in your slides, in your posting. Choose the visuals with intent, right? They are not decoration. They have a concrete function to fulfill. Ideally is to cut down the words if the image is very strong, right? And images carry a lot of emotional part to it. So you can use it in many different ways according to your roadmap, right? So you know what kind of emotional image you want to be choosing, depending on your intent, basically. Right? And then when it comes to the style, is clarity through structure. right? Try to minimize it, right? That is I know like you're mostly working on business applications. It's very different than like doing a poster for I don't know, like a happy salad bar in a way, like where you can do completely crazy stuff. There's different emotional part, different target audience, different intent, etc. Where you don't have to be that minimalistic. But style is what you have to focus on, like when you want clarity, right? So, and that is the last exercise, what we're going to be doing here, is like when the execution is where the idea becomes real, right? And that is your last exercise for today. Let me just drop this in. So this is basically a low type of mockup. Some of you guys already did your mockups, including your fonts and your styles and your colors, etc. What would work with it, right? So here again, you just spend like 5 minutes on it because we're almost out of time. If you can't do it, just write down like here in like this PDF what type you would choose, what colors you would choose. Yeah. If you would creating some kind of mock-up, then you put some images, textures, and shapes in there, or a quick sketch. And that would be the last activity for today. 5 minutes should be good enough. All right. See you in 5. Okay, anybody who wants to share, please drop it in the meeting chat. Okay, since we are almost out of time, I'll just let you keep what you've doing it. And if you want to share this in the next session, please do. A case study for that part, basically out of concept, structure, message, and execution. How this would have looked like is like concept from abandoned to love. The structure is a large hero image, headline, and call to action. Message, hope, responsibility, and compassion. And execution is in warm color, clean typography, and a friendly tone. That would be your creative brief, basically, which you would have created in this roadmap of those 4 different steps. If you would give this to a designer or an agency, they would be creating a lot of different scenarios. Probably nothing looks like this, please, doggy face, adopt me. People have different interpretation of it. But this is not the point. The point is for you to have a clear structure in how to build your artwork. This could be like a handout pamphlet to a billboard. It doesn't make a difference, right? It still follows all of the same steps: concept, structure, message, execution, right? How you want to get this done. The more you practice this, the easier it is to create consistent artwork, right? It is all about understanding. Understand your product, understand your client, understand your key message, understand your call for action. How do we bring this all together into one? And that it would be just the roadmap for it. And to review this framework, it follows a couple of different questions you would ask yourself about if this actually works, right? Was it clear, right? Is the structure clear? Is it the appropriate structure for this kind of artwork? Right? Does the message come across? Yeah. How did you execute upon this idea? And then again, we're going back to go and review, go and review. Maybe throw everything out and do it again. That is some of like the questions you're supposed to be asking yourself. For next week, I want you to do something that we went through today: concept, structure, message, execution. Yeah. From whatever you did today in this session, write out your concept, your structure, your message, and the execution in a simplistic way, right? And if you can, share with us the artwork you created. It might not be like the one you showed us today. It might be like something that you found on Pinterest. I don't care. For the people not too graphically inclined, go find your images that fits your concept, right? That carries the message that you want, and share it in the next session, right? Important is like understand the roadmap, generate an outcome, right? And that outcome has to be good enough for you to say, like, okay, that's going to work, right? I can implement this. I'll be passing you that slide deck in the WhatsApp group in a couple of minutes. And any question from you guys? Not at all. Okay. Not at all. Okay. Carry on with your life then. Okay.
Thanks, Hef.
Thanks, Seth.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good session.
Thank
Good
you,
session.
Thank you,
All right.
F.
Yeah.